Hi guys. So let me check and see if I'm live right now and then we can start. So okay, I can see Shubhika is live. Hi Shubhika. Hello everyone. So of course today we are going to be discussing the XAT paper and we are going to be discussing the XAT critical reasoning. We've been doing that. Day before yesterday we had discussed some portion of critical reasoning, and today again we will continue with the rest of the critical reasoning portion. So I'm just waiting for myself to, oh yes. So of course today we are going to be discussing the XAT paper and we are going to be discussing the XAT. Wonderful. So now that I'm live, I can get started. Hey Shubhika. Hello everyone. Let's get started. Okay, so let me quickly introduce you to myself. My name is Abhilasha, and of course I am coming to you live every evening at 9 p.m. and we are discussing the XAT paper and the SNAP paper on alternate days. So day before yesterday we had discussed critical reasoning, and today again we will continue with that. If you wish to connect with me, you can use the Unacademy Learners app. My ID is Abhilasha_S. Or you can connect with me on Telegram using Abhilasha English for CAT 2020 and CAT 2021 Abhi for the CAT 21 courses. Every morning at 9 a.m. I come to you live with the Hindu session where we do one reading comprehension based on the day's Hindu, and of course at 9 p.m. I discuss with you one topic of relevance for your XAT or your SNAP preparation. If you haven't yet enrolled with Unacademy, use my referral code, that is ABHICAT, to unlock all the courses, all tests, all mocks, all quizzes, everything for Unacademy. So just use ABHICAT, ABHICAT, ABHICAT. That's my referral code for all your Unacademy courses. सो लेट्स गेट स्टार्टेड गाइस, एकदम फटाफट शुरू कर लेते हैं. अच्छा, नॉन कैट टेस्ट सीरीज शुरू हो चुकी है तो इसको सब लोग एनरोल कर सकते हैं. स्नैप का मॉक टेस्ट नेक्स्ट होने वाला है 9 दिसंबर को, 9th दिसंबर, एंड दैट यू शुड रिमेंबर गाइस, एंड यू शुड मेक श्योर दैट यू कम एंड जॉइन अस फॉर दैट. एनमैट का सेकंड मॉक होगा 12 दिसंबर को, एंड अगेन यू कैन कम एंड जॉइन अस फॉर दिस मॉक ऑल्सो गाइस. ओके चलो, सो लेट्स डिस्कस पैसेज बेस्ड सीआर. हम पार्ट 2 पे आ गए हैं. अजम्पशन, पैराडॉक्स और इन्फरेंशियल क्वेश्चंस डिस्कस करेंगे. इन द लास्ट क्लास वी हैड डिस्कस्ड हाउ टू आइडेंटिफाई द कंक्लूजन, how to strengthen the conclusion, and how to weaken it. So in today's session it is all about identifying the assumptions, paradoxes and inferences. We'll try and do as much as we can and then we will see how it goes. All right, so if the question says identify the assumption, or what is it, which of the following must be true for the conclusion to be true. So let me write this down. Must be true for conclusion to be true. So this question also, both these questions tell you that you are looking for the assumption. Okay, when the question asks you for the assumption, remember that the premise and conclusion will be given to you, and remember that the premise plus assumption is always the conclusion. Okay, so now there can be 2 or 3 ways of identifying the assumption. The first is that you read the premise and then think to yourself, and also read the conclusion and see what is that underlying logic that connects both of these statements. For example, if Ram is a good boy and therefore Ram must be rewarded, so the premise is Ram is a good boy and Ram must be rewarded is the conclusion. So now I understand that all good boys need to be rewarded, and therefore therefore Ram must be rewarded. So the assumption then becomes that all good boys have to be rewarded. So this underlying logic, which I know we will not have written it down anywhere, then becomes the assumption. Also, you can do the negation process also, which is also something that is done very often, and it's a great thing. Now understand again that the assumption is that statement that has to be true for the conclusion to be true. So if an assumption is falsified, then the conclusion also becomes false. So what you do is, now the assumption is going to be one of the options, right? So what you do is you read the option and you try and falsify the options. Now whichever options, when it is falsified, the conclusion also becomes false. Now you know that has to be the correct assumption. Okay, so that is also a way of identifying the assumptions, and it's a good way. So that's one more way. The hack method, or the third method, or the keyword method, which is not really efficient in all cases, but hey, you can use it. That's the keyword approach. This is my hack. Now how what you do is, let's say you have a premise and you have a conclusion. So let's say there is keyword 1, there is keyword 2, and there is keyword 3 here. And there is keyword 1 and keyword 2 here. And there is keyword 4 here. Okay. So now I know that keyword 3 is here, keyword 4 is here, and the others are common. So what you do is you eliminate the common keywords. Okay. So keyword 1 and 2 I eliminate. Now keyword 3 and 4 are left. So I will write a sentence using these two keywords. Okay. So keyword 3 plus keyword 4, there is a connection, and I'll write a sentence using that. So now this becomes my assumption. So I don't even have to write a sentence. I merely have to find that option where these two keywords are given. Okay, in a logical relationship, not in an illogical relationship. And that's my assumption. Now this, of course, remember, may not work in a lot of places because you may not be able to find those keywords very clearly. But where you do, you can use this. It's a lovely hack and it is quite usable. Okay, so identifying the assumption, this is how you should do it. Now let's take a look at a question also. We'll try and do one very nice question. Let me see what questions are there. Here. Okay, let's do this question. So which of the following, if true, contributes most to an explanation of the machine tool industries raising the issue above regarding national security? So one of these will explain why the machine tool industry has raised the issue about national security. So you have to identify that. Okay. So let's read and try and understand. So it says Defense Department analysts are worried that the ability of the United States to wage a prolonged war, that means the US cannot wage a prolonged war. Why? Would be seriously endangered. So cannot wage a prolonged war. Why? If the machine tool manufacturing base shrinks further. So if they don't have as many machine tool making companies, then they cannot fight a long war. Okay, why is that so? Because if the products are coming from abroad and you're fighting a war with some country abroad, how are you going to get all these products into the country? So that's a problem. And if you're not, so all manufacturing cannot be stopped. Now, before the Defense Department publicly connected the security issue with the import quota issue, however, the machine tool industry raised the national security issue in its petition for import quotas. So the Defense Department had not connected the security issue with the import quota issue. That means they never thought that an import quota has to be established for machine tools. Why? Because it is important for the national security. They had not linked it. But even before that, the machine tool industry has raised the national security issue. When they asked for import quotas, they had said that it is a concern for national security. Now, why is it that the machine tool industry raised this issue of national security? Okay, ऐसा क्यों किया उन्होंने? बाकी किसी ने तो नहीं किया. तो मशीन टूल इंडस्ट्री ने क्यों रेज किया नेशनल सिक्योरिटी का इशू? So let's quickly take a look. Let's understand this. Probably machine tool industry ने क्यों किया होगा? क्योंकि उनको उनकी बात कोई और सुन नहीं रहा होगा, ये हो सकता है. या वो बहुत ज़्यादा कंसर्न होंगे नेशनल सिक्योरिटी के लिए, क्योंकि उनकी इंडस्ट्री डाई आउट कर जाएगी अगर नेशनल सिक्योरिटी पे खतरा होगा तो. So something like that. Take a look at number 1. So when the aircraft industry is retooled, they provided a large amount of work for tool builders. But let's say the aircraft industry gets new tools, so there is a large amount of work for tool builders, but that's really not our concern. We are not talking of this. What we're talking of is import quota क्यों लगाना है, उसमें national security का issue क्या है? तो ये तो नहीं हो सकता. The Defense Department is only marginally concerned with effects of foreign competition. तो इसमें Defense Department का रोल है, machine tool industry का रोल ही नहीं है. Therefore, this cannot be the correct answer. So let's eliminate A and let's eliminate B. Let's look at C. Machine tool industry encountered difficulty in obtaining governmental protection against imports on grounds other than defense. So when the machine tool industry asked for import quotas, so nobody heard them. But the minute they invoked the name of national security, immediately everybody heard them. And probably that is why they used the national security issue in their petition. So this could be a good answer. A few weapons important for defense consist of parts that do not require extensive machining. But how are we concerned with those weapons? There must be many more weapons that are requiring extensive machining, and that we need to do. So D is irrelevant for us. It is out of scope. We don't really care about this question. So clearly the best answer for us will be C कि मशीन टूल इंडस्ट्री ने इसलिए ही नेशनल सिक्योरिटी का इशू उठाया क्योंकि उनकी बात कोई सुन ही नहीं रहा था. So this then becomes the assumption, guys. I hope you've understood this. तो assumption के questions में हमेशा अपने mind में सोचो कि क्या चीज़ है जो missing है और उसको करके देखो. And उससे I think you should be able to get your answer. Alright. Let's come to the second type of questions, the paradox question. अब paradox question भी जो है एक तरीके का assumption question ही है, ठीक है. बस paradox में क्या होता है कि कुछ उल्टा हो रहा होता है. So if you are supposed to go east, you end up going west, and that's all. So again, when the question says identify the paradox, you are given the premise and the conclusion. The premise plus assumption will lead to a paradoxical conclusion, and that's given, okay. So what is a paradox? A paradox is a contradiction. So you must find something that satisfies this contradiction. Now take a look at this. Such a lovely question. So this year there was a bumper crop of potatoes. Huh? Okay Shubhika, we'll try. कर रही हूँ 12 बजे करती हूँ alternate days. कल होगा Snap Parajumbles का session. So you can come at 12:15. Okay. So this year there was a bumper potato crop in Punjab. Now the farmers of Punjab were therefore committing suicide in large numbers. Now see this diversity or see this divergence. There is bumper potato crop and yet the farmers are committing suicide. Is that not very strange? It is. So now here is the paradox कि भाई bumper crop है फिर भी there are the farmers who are committing suicide. And why would they do so? That is the problem. Why is it that the bumper potato crop के बाद भी farmers are committing suicide? So this is what we need to justify or satisfy. So why is this happening, guys? ऐसा क्यों हो रहा होगा? तो लॉजिकली सोच के देखो अगर बम्पर पोटैटो क्रॉप हुई है वी वर एक्सपेक्टिंग 100 kgs of potato and we get 2000 kgs of potato. One, where am I going to store it? So that's my problem. If I leave it in the field, won't it rot? So that's my second problem. Okay. If I try and sell it, if there is 2000 kgs of potatoes, are there going to be adequate number of buyers? So will I be able to sell it? In each of these cases, who is at a loss? It is the poor farmer. And therefore the farmer obviously is extremely unhappy with this 2000 kgs of potatoes that he has grown. And therefore he is going to be unhappy. He may even commit suicide. So you understand. So the contradiction is that paradox of poverty and plenty, which is what that if you have a lot of farming, a lot of crops happening, then the demand will remain the same and the supply will increase. And because all the agricultural crops are they can be they're very perishable, therefore the farmer's at a loss. He has to sell at any price that he's getting, and that is the reason. Okay, and this selling at any price is the reason why the farmers are fighting it out in Delhi. Okay, they don't want to sell at any price, which is what the private companies are going to force them to do without an MSP guarantee. So that is the problem. All right, so this is the paradox and this is how you solve it. So when you see the word, paradox, or there is a, you have to reconcile the statement, something like that. Remember that वो gap है और उस gap को fill करना है हमें. Okay, so just that. So find a statement, find an option that will satisfy this gap and that will be the correct answer. Okay, तो ये ध्यान रखो. All right, let's take a look at this question. अच्छा चलो ये वाला question करते हैं. प्यारा सा question है. Okay, करते हैं. Let's take a look. So during the Second World War, about 3,75,000 civilians died in the US and 4,08,000 members of the US Army died overseas. On the basis of these figures, it can be concluded that it was not much more dangerous to be overseas in the armed force than it was to stay at home. तो कह रहा है 375k civilians died, okay, and 408k army people died. So because they're almost equal, so there is not much danger in either of them. Both are equally dangerous or equally safe. Now, what is the absurdity? There is some absurdity in this conclusion. And what is the absurdity? Can I say that 375K from the civilians and 408K from the army are the same or almost equal? That's the problem. So try reading this question and tell me if this is correct. Quickly. तो अगर हम इसका लॉजिक समझ लेते हैं एक बार फटाफट। लॉजिक बहुत प्यारा है और लॉजिक ये है कि कभी भी हम दो रैंडम डेटा को कंपेयर नहीं कर सकते। अगर मैं कहती हूँ कि मेरे घर में दो सर्वेंट्स हैं और तुम कहते हो मेरे घर में भी दो सर्वेंट्स हैं और हम कहते हैं अरे यार इक्वल नंबर ऑफ लोग हैं हमारे पास, तो गलत होगा, क्योंकि मेरे घर में 10 लोगों के बीच में दो सर्वेंट्स हैं और तुम्हारे घर में 2 लोगों के बीच में दो सर्वेंट्स हैं। So you understand it cannot be equal. So the same thing works here also. The data, this is 3,75,000 out of the entire US population. और ये है सिर्फ आर्मी में से, which is a part of the US population. You understand that the army is only a percentage of the US population. So therefore the base of these two data is not equal, and therefore this and this cannot be compared. तो ये एब्सर्डिटी है। तो जब तक हम इन दोनों बेस को सेम नहीं करेंगे तब तक वी कैन नॉट कंपेयर दिस डेटा। ये दिस इज अ वेरी लवली फैलेसी ना, इसे स्टेटिस्टिकल फैलेसी कहते हैं कि यू कैन ओनली कंपेयर डेटा विच कम्स फ्रॉम द सेम बेस। तो जब भी डेटा आएगा 1 बॉय इज इक्वल टू 1 गर्ल, ऐसा नहीं हो सकता है जब तक कि आउट ऑफ हाउ मेनी दिया हुआ हो। ठीक है, जब तक आउट ऑफ हाउ मेनी नहीं दिया है तब तक इट कैन नॉट बी द करेक्ट दिस थिंग। सो प्लीज डू रिमेंबर दैट। ओके, सो ये ध्यान रखने वाला है कि बेस सेम होना चाहिए ही चाहिए। अगर बेस सेम नहीं है तो वो करेक्ट आंसर नहीं हो सकता है, ये ध्यान रखने वाली चीज है। सो अगेन हियर ऑल्सो वी नीड टू मेक द डेटा सेम। हाउ डू वी मेक द डेटा सेम? वी कैन कंपेयर डेथ रेट्स पर 1000। उस ग्रुप में भी पर 1000 में कितने लोग मरे और इस ग्रुप में भी पर 1000 में कितने लोग मरे। अगर हम ये डेटा निकाल लें तो हमारी लाइफ बहुत ही इजी हो जाएगी। अगर हम ए देखें, काउंटिंग डेथ अमंग मेंबर्स ऑफ आर्म्ड फोर्सेस इन एडिशन टू डेथ अमंग मेंबर्स ऑफ द आर्म्ड फोर्सेस हु सर्व्ड ओवरसीज, इससे क्या फर्क पड़ने वाला है? कुछ नहीं, वील जस्ट ऐड ऑन अ फ्यू मोर सोल्जर्स, दैट्स इट। सो ए इज नॉट यूजफुल फॉर अस, इट डजंट एक्सप्लेन द एब्सर्डिटी। Expressing the difference between the number of deaths among civilians, so let's say X people died among the civilians and Y people died among the armed forces. Now, as a percentage of total number of death, what does this tell us? It tells us nothing, and therefore this also does not reveal the absurdity. Separating death caused by accidents and combat injuries. Again, मर तो गए ही है ना, खतरा तो वहीं जाके हुआ ना, यहाँ तो हुआ नहीं था। तो again this is irrelevant. Only the fourth one which says compare the death rates, make the base same, is the one that tells you that this is the absurdity. So here you are, here is the correct answer, the one that tells you okay, this is the absurdity and here we need to solve this. Okay, very nice Utsav, I am very happy. 240 is a good score, it's a good score, yes. मतलब 250 हो जाता तो मैं और खुश हो जाती, बट 240 इज अ गुड स्कोर। आई एम वेरी प्राउड ऑफ यू। सेंड मी योर स्कोर कार्ड। हाँ, वेरी नाइस, वेरी नाइस, मैं खुश हुई। उत्सव गाइस हैज गॉट अ वेरी नाइस स्कोर, ही स्कोर्ड 214 इन मैथ एंड दैट्स अमेजिंग। ऑलराइट, आई होप यहाँ तक समझ में आ रहा होगा। ठीक है, पैराडॉक्स, ओह ये क्या। ओके, लेट्स कम टू द नेक्स्ट टाइप ऑफ क्वेश्चंस व्हिच आर क्वेश्चंस बेस्ड ऑन इन्फरेंस. Now inference is, guys, you have to understand, it is also a type of conclusion only, but inference doesn't come from all the premises. So let's say there is premise 1 and premise 2 and I add these, and to this I add the assumption, I reach the conclusion. But let's say there is something that I can conclude from premise 1, then that automatically becomes the inference. Okay, so it is a partial conclusion, understand that. Okay, so now how you can spot this is through the keyword hack. So if one of the premises has something in common with one of the options, some keyword in common, you know that could be a possible inference. Okay. So hack. Now, of course, you will be given the premises and the conclusion. One of the premises will lead to one of the conclusions, one of the options, and that will be the correct inference. All right, take a look at this question. We'll try and read this one and do this. So this is which of the following can be correctly inferred from the statements. Let's read. It says increase in the level of HDL in the human bloodstream, lower blood cholesterol level by increasing the body's capacity to rid itself of excess cholesterol. So when HDL increases, cholesterol goes down. Okay. Now levels of HDL in the bloodstream of some individuals are significantly increased by a program of regular exercise and weight reduction. So if you exercise and reduce your weight, so if you do that regularly, then the HDL will increase and the cholesterol will decrease. That is what we are saying. Okay. So this is what. So individuals who are underweight do not run. Now this is a group that we are not concerned with. So let's eliminate this. Let's look at option B. Individuals who do not exercise regularly have a high risk of developing high levels of cholesterol in the bloodstream late in life. We don't know what the impact will be in terms of age. So let's eliminate. Exercise and weight reduction are the most effective methods of lowering bloodstream cholesterol levels. They are effective methods, but are they the most effective methods? I will put a question mark on this and I will go to the next option. A program of regular exercise and weight reduction lowers cholesterol levels in bloodstream of some individuals. Okay. Now let's take a look. What had we said? We said if you exercise and reduce your weight, the HDL will increase and the cholesterol will go down. And they had said in some individuals, not all. And therefore, if some people exercise and reduce their weight, some people, then their bloodstream cholesterol level might just go down. So now this is something that we can conclude from here. Some people, if they exercise and reduce their weight, their HDL goes up, their cholesterol will come down. Wonderful. So I think this is the one that we can infer. So guys, then this becomes the correct answer. Okay. Utsav, I wish you would get 100. You are writing one more attempt, ना? तो बिल्कुल 100 लाओ तो बहुत अच्छा रहेगा, हम खुश हो जाएंगे. ठीक है. Alright guys, I hope ये questions समझ में आए होंगे कि कैसे हम inference कर रहे हैं, कैसे हम paradox कर रहे हैं, कैसे हम assumption कर रहे हैं. We will stop now and tomorrow again I will see you same time same place with some questions from Snap. तो कल हम Snap के questions cover करेंगे. थोड़े से we were doing the Snap vocabulary, so we'll continue a little bit more with some vocabulary and thereafter we will start with the other topics. Alright guys, that's it from me. Thank you so much. Also remember to use my referral code ABHICAT if you haven't yet unlocked any of our courses. See me tomorrow at 9 a.m. Remember, it's a very good practice of your Snap RC, of your of any of your OMET RCs. If you're writing the OMETs, come to my session at 9 a.m. We're doing the Hindu. अभी सारे articles Hindu Indian context से आने वाले हैं. अभी तक सारे अमेरिकन कॉन्टेक्स्ट से और यूरोपियन कॉन्टेक्स्ट से आ रहे थे. सो गार्डन एक्सेट्रा बड़ा अच्छा हो रहा था. अभी हिंदू पे आ जाओ फटाफट एकदम. लेट्स डू अ लॉट ऑफ हिंदू एंड लेट्स डू अ लॉट ऑफ वोकैबुलरी फ्रॉम देयर. यू विल फाइंड इट वेरी वेरी बेनिफिशियल.